You have to start getting ready for your season of suddenly right now. For many of you, your season of suddenly is already right there in front of you, and you probably just don't even see it. And when the suddenlies begin to happen, you have to be prepared because the blessings begin to overflow and come so quickly. It's just the way that God works. You have to be prepared to even reap what's been sown. Otherwise, your suddenly can come and you won't be able to even reap the benefits from it. Or I should say, allow God to get the glory from it. You have to be ready for the season of suddenly. And for many of us, the season of suddenly is already here. Suddenly, you begin to realize all of that hard work that you've done all those years, that it pays off. Suddenly, all of those seeds that God allowed you to plant, you begin to see it sprout up from the ground, just popping up in different areas all around you. The seeds begin to grow. And it's very interesting. It doesn't seem like it happens just a little bit at a time. It literally almost becomes just a harvest. Suddenly. I can't help it, but that's what's in my spirit for this month that we're in right now, that this is a season of suddenly. It reminds me of a passage in Isaiah. And by the way, you all are listening to Unlocking Greatness podcast with Zenja Glass for those who are just tuning in. It reminds me of a passage in Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 43, in verse 18, that says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" My brothers and sisters who are listening to this message right now from all around the world, pray for God to open your eyes for you to see the new season that you've already stepped into. Many of us are already in that season of suddenly, and it may not look like it at first, but you're in that season of suddenly. It has finally arrived, but you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready. Suddenly, the doors begin to open. Suddenly, the king remembers you. Suddenly, the people you've been serving for years come forward to serve and to give back. Suddenly, all the ideas that you've had and all the creativity and everything that you've been doing all your life, suddenly it just begins to work out for you and you begin to benefit tremendously from it. Suddenly, you get that call back. Suddenly, someone remembers you. Suddenly, all of the hard work begins to pay off. I've been reading in the book of Genesis and the story of Joseph, which you all have heard me talk about quite a bit. But what's so interesting about Joseph is after all that he went through, with everything that his brother did and the whole 9 yards, being thrown into the pit and Potiphar's wife, how she treated him. What's amazing is even after he interpreted the cupbearer's dream, the cupbearer literally forgot about the man, literally forgot about him, I think for a period of 2 or so years, forgot about him. And then all of a sudden, Pharaoh begins to have this dream that no one could interpret. You all can read chapter 41 on that. And what's really, really interesting is in chapter 41, verse 9, it says, "Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, 'Today I am reminded of my shortcomings.'" And he goes on to talk about telling Pharaoh what this man did for him when he was in prison and how this man interpreted his dream. He said, "Today I'm reminded." It's as if it's a suddenly. Suddenly he was reminded. Doesn't that remind you in the book of Esther when suddenly the king couldn't sleep through the night and he asked them to bring the book of Chronicles to him. And he had to read the book of Chronicles and suddenly, was it Malachi? Malachi was lifted. Or Mordecai, I should say. Mordecai was lifted suddenly. So I love in Genesis chapter 41, the cupbearer all of a sudden, suddenly, right, remembers what was done, tells him about Joseph. You all can read through the whole story. The king suddenly sends for him. And when he sends for Joseph, and that's in verse 14, it says, "So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon." Quickly. Just like that, God can move in the heart of someone to do something because God always worked through men to be able to help men. Suddenly you're lifted. But here's the piece that you, myself, none of us can afford to neglect this one important piece, you all. We have to be ready for the suddenly. Have to be ready. The king sent for Joseph, but Joseph was ready. Joseph was an amazing man of God, an amazing praying man, an amazing man that sought the presence of God all the time and sought the wisdom of God. So suddenly, when the king sent for him, he was ready. And you can read the story to see all of the things that happened when he interpreted the dream, brilliantly interpreted the dream. And I love in Genesis, I think this is chapter 41. Pharaoh says in verse 38, now listen to this part. So Pharaoh asked him, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? What made him even say that? It was this amazing divine wisdom and insight and revelation. He said, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, now this is after Joseph interpreted his dream, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You, verse 10, shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. Joseph was ready for the suddenly. Going in verse 41. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Can you all imagine that? Insert yourself into that story, whatever you've been praying for, whatever you've been working hard for, whatever you've been wishing for. Are you ready for your season of suddenly, my dear brothers and sisters? Are you ready for the harvest? Are you ready to reap? Are you ready for the downpour? I have to ask myself the same thing. Is your character ready for it? Can your character handle that level of authority, that level of power, that level of trust, to be trusted with the hearts of men and women around the world? Can your character, can your stamina, can your wisdom handle having the resources that God is going to be putting in your hands? Can you be disciplined enough? Can you tell the truth? Can you still worship God and spend time with Him in the secret place, even when you're not desperate in prayers anymore? Can you be ready? More important question is, are you ready? Now, I know everybody's going to say, yes, I'm ready. We all naturally say yes. But there were seasons in my life when I thought I was ready, and I absolutely was not. I've had several suddenly moments in my life, and I was not prepared, not ready. And seasons when God poured down blessings on me tremendously. And guess what? I ended up losing it all because I wasn't prepared to even be able to handle that level of blessings. I was telling God the other day, and I think I'd mentioned it again to Him today, I thank you for the times you allowed me to be humble. I thank you for the times that you pruned me. Because as you begin to work in my life and you begin to rise me up again and you begin to trust me with the hearts of men and women around the world, you begin to trust me with resources, you begin to trust me that I would sit in your presence and I would represent you. As you begin to do those things, I'm so incredibly grateful because there was a time in my life when I could not be trusted with that. My pride was way too heavy and deep, you all. I was way too in love with myself. And yes, I went to church. I love God. I do all of that. I always have. But I couldn't handle it. And so in love, God had to prune me. I want to read to you all just a little bit from my book, Necessary, and then I'm going to close out. If you all do not have a copy of my book, Necessary, you can get it anywhere from any bookstore worldwide. I highly advise you all to get a copy or get a copy for a friend. Or you can go to my website at unlockinggreatness.com and get the audiobook or the video book. And I still have the audiobook as a pay what you want. So you can get the audiobook for whatever you want. But anyway, chapter 5, there's a chapter in here titled The Pruning Season, and I'm just going to read the affirmation. This is my season. It has finally arrived, and no one can take it away. Finally, I am reaping the rewards God stored up for me. Finally, the mountains are moving. You may not understand why tears of joy are flowing from my eyes. You did not witness my midnight cries and prayers for better days. But oh, how the seasons have changed. God has shown me my labor was not in vain. This is my season. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you, God. My season has finally arrived. Now, ironically, the chapter goes into talking about what led up to that affirmation. It is not good, you guys. It's not. It's not good. What led up to it is the good gardener showed up and began to prune and cut away. In fact, let me read the first paragraph from the chapter. What happens when God, the gardener, starts the pruning season in our lives to prepare us for our season of harvest? Can you recognize the harvest is coming when the gardener begins to cut away what is no longer needed in your life? Can you hold on and trust your harvest is ahead when everything around you seems to fall away? And then I go on into talking about it's taken me well over 50 plus years to finally understand a very simple yet challenging concept about the season before the harvest season. Because he loves me, he also prunes me. We go through a pruning season, you all. And I just have to encourage my beautiful brothers and sisters all around the world who are listening to this podcast right now. Even if you're going through that pruning season right now, I want you to sit back and just rock back and forth in your chair and just say, my season of harvest is coming. My suddenly season is coming. Because he loves you. He also prunes you. It's a really good chapter for you all to go and read. It reminds me of another chapter necessary. I think it's the chapter titled Through the Fire, when I did some research on how grapes, why is the pruning season even necessary? And I had no idea, because I'm really not into planning and all of that, believe it or not. But I had no idea. It's so that the vine or the whatever it is that's growing can be more fruitful. That's the season before the harvest season, you all. That's why this podcast is titled Suddenly. Or at least I think that's the title I'm going to give it. Are you prepared for your season of suddenly? And you may say, Z, but I'm not in that season right now. I'm going through a difficult season. There's so much being cut away and taken away in my life. That means you need to be getting prepared for the suddenly. Joseph was. Joseph was sitting there in prison for something he didn't even do, helping people. And they're going off 2-3 years, not even remembering him. And all that time growing in wisdom and in stature, worshiping God, staying close to the Lord. Who knows what books he was reading, growing in wisdom, superior wisdom, in fact. Do you know the amount of wisdom that was available to the king or to Pharaoh around that time? And for him to say that he has not come across anybody that's that wise, he was preparing for his season of suddenly. And in the blink of an eye, the king sought for him, and he was risen to top position over all of Egypt. I don't know why God has me putting this message out, but you all need to start getting prepared for your season of suddenly. I truly believe with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, for the vast majority of us, who love God with all our heart and mind, body, and soul, I truly believe our season of suddenly is here. I'm amazed. I just want to end this by saying what God has done so quickly with this retreat that's coming up, the Unlocking Greatness Retreat. It is just, I don't even have words. For those who don't know the story, it was just a few weeks ago. When I woke up, God made it clear to me June 13th, you're having your retreat. I'm like, God, that's just a few weeks away. You can go back and listen to the old podcast episode, the one previous to this, and I talked about it in detail. But I only had about 3 weeks to get this together, and really not even 3 weeks, more like a weekend, more like 2 weeks. And I'm just amazed at the suddenlies. Suddenly someone came and sponsored my retreat. Suddenly this person said, Z, I know I just met you, but I'm going to get on a flight. I'm going to get there. I want to be there. Suddenly these people came out of the woodworks and said, Z, I got you on audio. I'm going to help you with catering. Seasons of suddenlies. And I believe this is just the beginning. But it doesn't happen overnight. And what I mean by happening overnight is the preparation, my brothers and sisters. You can do years of giving and serving and helping people. And I've done it without complaining. At least I don't think I was complaining, right? And all of a sudden, it just touches my heart so much that people from all around are stepping up to the plate. See, I want to be there to support you, or I want to be a sponsor, or I can't make it, but I want to sponsor someone else, or I can't make it, but I'm going to do the live stream, or hey, I'm very good with catering, Z. Let me take over the catering menu. You've served and given to me for so many years. Let me pour back. And I don't say that to brag. That's not bragging, you all. It's convicting me in my heart in such a beautiful way that the seasons of suddenly all of a sudden appears. It reminds me of the Chinese bamboo tree, that it takes years. I think if I researched it correctly, and you all can correct me on this if I'm off a little bit, I think it's 7 or so years that this tree is underground when you plant it. 7 or so years, you see no growth whatsoever. I think it's like 7 years or anywhere between 5 and 9 years, but I think it was 7 years. You see no growth whatsoever with that Chinese bamboo tree. And all of a sudden, within just a few short weeks, I think someone said a couple of weeks, it shoots up, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 feet within weeks, just boom, just that quickly, suddenly. My brothers and sisters, before I close this podcast episode out, I want to plead with you. Get ready for your season of suddenly. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself the help that you need to grow. Reading books, learning, worshiping God in prayer, spending time in the secret place, getting mentorship, whatever it is that you need to do to get prepared. Get prepared for your season of suddenly, because when the King sends for you, you need to be ready. I love you all. You're listening to Unlocking Greatness podcast with Zenja Glass. I love you all. Bye-bye.